This is Leaving Scientology, the YouTube channel, and today we're going to be discussing security. Uh, I'm looking in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. I have a guest. We've never talked before, so this will be brand new. I have no idea what they're going to ask me. I know they wanted to find out about my time in the Sea Org in regards to the security portion of this. All right, adding him in.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Nice to meet you, Louis. Is it Louis or Louis? What should I call you? I'm horrible with that.
it's best if you find what feels best for you to call me. So I like
All right.
Louis. Uh, People call me all kinds of funny stuff. So
Well, Lou, it's good to meet you. Saul Goodman. I wish I would have met you when you were in LA, but we'll meet here. Maybe I'll have to go up to St. Louis one day.
heck yeah, that'd be awesome. So you're in LA.
No, I'm in actually Sacramento, so I'm close to
No
like Liz
kidding.
Ferris and all
You
those people. I protest the Sacramento org.
were
On
you born
that's my.
there?
I was born in California,
You were born
Sacramento.
in Sacramento.
Pretty. I mean, I don't like to give my 100% location, but let's just say Northern California. I know
I was
Osa
born in
wants to know.
Sacramento, bro. I was born in
You were?
Sacramento. Yeah,
Oh,
1982.
yeah. 1990. What's up, buddy? Yeah, right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, my parents were they were the ones that were on staff in the 70s and 80s at the SAC org. And there was a mission
Oh.
there actually called the Davis mission. It was part of the missions that chairman of the board, Dave Miscavige, actually went into and said, "Hey, you guys are not cool," and
Well, that's
broke
David
them
for
up.
you.
Broke them up. Said you're getting too much power and money.
Ooh.
Yeah, we can talk more about that another time for sure.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that too. But that's kind of cool that you kind of know the area. I mean, you were in the Sacramento org. Is that where you went into? Or what org
No,
did you?
we had moved away from Sacramento by the time I was 7 years old.
Okay.
But when I was a Sea Org member, I did certain jobs where they sent me out to orgs in order to like do investigations, and they sent me to the Sacramento org to do some investigations there. There's a
Was
guy
this the
named
old building?
Kiernan McIntyre. He used to be a Class 5 org staff member there, like, and then he went into the Sea Org. But he was someone that I trained or drilled on how to do the rollback investigations that I was
Oh.
taught on how to like investigate people, basically give people little miniature confessionals.
So rollback is kind of like investigating individuals, SPs or Scientologists or both.
Everyone, everyone.
Everybody.
It's the rollback is so like it's just this. It has its fundamentals in the basics of Scientology.
Hmm.
So you're basically they're using it in many different ways in auditing, but you don't really realize that it's rollback that you're getting
Okay.
in a
So it's more
nutshell.
like they treat it like auditing, and it's technically an investigation. Is that what you're saying?
The rollbacks.
Yeah.
Uh, I was just saying in regards to what the roll. I'm not really sure, but the rollbacks are done on anyone. They're done on everyone.
They're just done
The
throughout.
technique itself, the
Uh-huh.
finding the prior um, finding the way that the suppressive person has influenced you to be a certain way. That's
Okay.
a common theme within auditing. You're always
Mhm.
trying to find out which identity you can shed off of you. So, or you're trying to figure out what false data you have gotten and where was it from so that you can separate yourself from it. Like all of these are all part of rollback. Rollback is finding the source of the enemy information that you received or whatever influence that you got to be destructive. Because you ended up doing something bad, such as
Suppressive towards a church.
yeah, but it can be anything. It could be like spreading an enemy line, which is where you're telling other people bad, negative things like, oh, staff members never go up the bridge. That's an enemy line. So it's a line, a statement that's designed to bring about disaffection and sadness, sullenness within the staff members.
Okay.
And the rollback is designed to find out the source of this, of where you got this enemy line, and how and who else you spread it to. So that's what you're doing within that person's mind. You're auditing them. You know, you're making them look in their mind to find who was it that changed their mind about something. You know, and that's just the interview part. There's a further part that goes beyond rollback called the truth rundown, in which you address every single enemy line that you've ever handled with the rollback. So in your whole Scientology lifetime, you may have handled 3 rollback lines, which is like 15 minutes each interview. So that's 45 minutes. Each of those 3 lines go and get actual auditing into your whole track to find the evil intention behind you continuing to push that enemy line. So the truth rundown handles this idea of the enemy line. It handles the cause of it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of a step back here. When you were, what really wanted me to get to talk to you was you were in the PAC program, or you were a PAC. So, I mean, that's kind of, it leads into that, what you were saying, because you did investigations. You weren't like William or Odo, per se. But
yeah, let me tell you about that.
So, that's kind of, yeah.
Let me show you this. I made a little sketch here. Okay?
Oh yeah.
So,
a flow chart. I could do with that.
Okay. Let me see if I can change this layout so that there's more. How's that? Is that a little better? You can move see over too, but can you see your face?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool. So this is in regards to the blue buildings, okay?
In LA, right? Yep.
Yeah, so that we both have reality here. So these are the buildings that deliver the services to the public. Boom, boom, and boom. This is the OT one. It's AOLA. We know that one. We know the one with the lion in front. That's ASHO. And we know LA Org. That's the one with the giant parking lot next to it.
Across from Kaiser.
Correct.
Right.
Right above that is the Continental Liaison Office, and they control everything that happens to these 3 orgs. This box does.
Okay.
Above them is the International Liaison Office, and these guys control these guys. And then above them is Religious Technology Center.
David Miscavige.
Yes, David Miscavige, and he has representatives everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So up here, this is Incom. That's where they take care of all the computer stuff. And they have a little security for that. Now, here, see this? This is how it really goes. RTC to OSA, RTC to security. And these right here, there's no, this guys, they don't really control anything when it comes to this stuff.
Okay.
And this is not like, I didn't just make this up.
No, definitely not. I can see the flow chart. Like, it flows.
Yes. So within every single org is a security section.
Okay.
A security section for each one. It's called Department 3.
They're all called Department 3. Okay.
Now, they're within Department 3.
Mm-hmm.
So this is HCO. You can see here in this little box here, it says HCO on it. That's where security is inside of. I'm not going to explain everything about this. I'm just going to explain the security part. HCO.
HCO, what's that stand for?
Oh, Hubbard Communications Office.
Okay.
Department 1 is recruiting people and establishing them on post. Department 2 is all of the dispatches in the building, and then all of the communication going out and in. It's controlled there. Department 3, Director of Inspections and Reports. There, they have this, the awareness characteristic of Department 3 is perception.
Okay.
That's really important. And that's really important to training these guards. Chief MA, then there's all these other posts. Within this Director of Inspections and Reports department is the Master at Arms, all the ethics stuff, public and staff. Okay. Then there's a legal section. That's for everyone that signs those little waivers that you have to sign in the beginning, and all of the immigration stuff falls under here. Then security. So that's controlled by the DIR. Security, Director of Inspections and Reports. Not important right now. I'm just saying it for details. Yeah. Security, internal, external, and then there's watch. So this, within every single one of these tiny little churches here, is this design, the same makeup.
The DIR and the 3.
All right. So let's go back to this again. So now I worked, okay, now this security right here, the one that works for this or is level to this continental one, that's the one that is the physical security of the base. So like they are inside of what's called senior HCO. Okay. So they're the controller of all the HCOs inside of these orgs. They give the orders to them. So that's how so the reason why there is this whole flow chart, you may ask, is like why is there all this stuff? Well, they need to know who to say yes sir to. That's all. You know,
who's above them,
got seniority, because you get a lot of orders that are cross orders. You get orders from everywhere within the Sea Org. And you have to know who your boss is. Like, you don't mess around with these people. So the security within the orgs is, gets the orders from here. But they are independent and they operate in their own, on their own initiative within their church. So this is like 150 people. So now, within this right here, it's only like 3 people, which is the security of the church. All right, so security at the continental level. Within that is Odo Huber. Yes. William. Ryan.
The physical.
Bosling. Ryan Boswell. Yeah, Ryan Boswell. That's right. So not only are they doing like the physical stuff, which is the cameras and the bicycle, that is one whole section. They've got someone inside their. Okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I just wanted to show you here this flow. Now, above them is security for ILO. So that's the physical security for the HGB building. That's the one where William had that clash with the dude. And then he started on his protest. So that's where the LRH Life exhibition is.
Oh, the LRH Life exhibition. Okay,
this security takes care of the HGB and probably the test center.
Because they're so there. It's close.
Yes. So RTC gives, when the security has a situation, like let's say that they find out someone's a pedophile, they need to get authority from OSA and RTC on what to do here.
Because it would be cross. If they just handled it themselves, they would be out ethics, I guess you would say, because they didn't get clearance.
Right.
Is that?
Yes, exactly. Not only that, I mean, that would be a severe. You would get definitely in big trouble if you did.
So put it this way: anything that the physical guards do either comes from OSA, David Miscavige, or a mix of the two. Because
Go ahead.
I mean, because RTC is Dave. I'm saying RTC David Miscavige because he runs it, but someone at RTC gives OSA command to give to security. Is that how it kind of flows?
Well, let me give you examples because
yeah,
I'm not sure what you're asking about. So RTC, they have the final word. That's why they're at the top.
mm-hmm.
So if they say kick somebody off the base, security's going to do it. So this security, because this security for the pack base
Mm-hmm.
only deals with the physical security, yes, of the base and stuff, but also they deal with the internal security of the base. That has
Mm-hmm.
to do with severe disaffected staff members and staff members that want to unalive themselves. They're called security threats. Odo is actually not a biker. He's not a guard. His job is security threats IC. He's the in charge of all the security threats on the base. The security, they have a WQSB, which is like when you're supposed to do certain things. So they have like a time slot for when they're supposed to be on the bike.
Okay.
Because there's only so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's extremely high security to become in security. High qualifications to become a security guard. I'll tell you about that in a second. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
This security guard, so not only are they dealing with public, which is raw public, WOGs, you guys, that's what the security, they're watching for fires, they're watching for bad guys, that kind of thing. But they're also dealing with suppressive persons, recognizing them, alerting people. They're dealing with also the internal threats within the C organization. So someone who wants to leave, that's the threat. So Odo would then go to this council with these other people on other security. These security, they all have a meeting with security, and they call it perimeter council, and that's where they talk about all of these situations, the security threats. So Odo oversees that. He has a grid of all of the threats, and they go by name and org. And there's a step-by-step procedure for each person. And each security spot provides that step-by-step up to Odo, and he just product officers them on getting those steps done. So if it's a person wants to unalive themselves, the first step is go to the doctor. So, that week they'd have the meeting, and if you didn't get your person to the doctor, you were going to be staying up 2 hours, cleaning God knows what.
RPF in it.
No, I mean, that's not even RPF. You're just getting punished because they
punishment.
Want laborers. They need laborers to do their little L. Ron Hubbard administration.
Okay.
So not only is there the external security of the cameras and the riding on the bike and stuff, but there's the internal security of the people, because you have people on there. What if someone wants to unalive themselves and they jump off the building? That's a security situation.
But that would be Odo's job to handle that. Is that kind of?
He's responsible. He report this grid that
he can delegate.
About, that grid goes to OSA, and it goes to Religious Technology Center, which is on the base. There's a representative on the base. And this little grid that Odo has of all the security threats, and I'm sure DOA is on there and other people. They're clearly security threats. All the channels are.
All protesters.
And so on this list, and what progress has been made in doing certain things, LRH handlings on the people, or, just getting them off the base, such as the person who was found with pedophilia on his computer, supposedly. He was gone within 8 hours. He was just gotten by security and taken out. I never saw him again. I only heard about it because I was working in that security of my org, and you overhear stuff in
Mm-hmm.
the rooms. So in order to be in this little security of each of the orgs and in this security, you have to get a confessional. It's 56 questions, and it's regarding, you have no drug reversions. You can never have done anything perverted on the anything sexually perverted. You cannot, and if you have, you need to have had corrective handlings for that, which includes whole track and evil purpose digging up, and erasing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can never have run away from an organization, which is called blowing. You can never have run away.
Blown. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't have blown. And there are other things that regarding their case, which I'm not going to explain. It's just having to do with their drug in their lifetime, just having to do with drug stuff on their case. It has to be handled, basically. See what else.
Had to do a purification rundown and stuff, and then you could be considered.
No, here's what it is it depends on what your drug history is. So if you're a kid who is 14 coming into the Sea Org, your drug history is quite small, probably. You've only drinking a half a beer or something. But if you're 25 and you're joining the Sea Org, your drug history might include some marijuana, some LSD, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't join the Sea Org if you've had LSD.
But you could be LRH and have LSD.
So we're back to the security. So yes, they do. They all have their own post. So only a few people actually have the job of security guard. Roy Rodriguez, Michael Murphy, Ben Kirkland. Their actual job was to be a security guard. What else is that? Okay, what are we on now?
So, I'll just use what's going on currently at Blue, how they got private security hired out now, it looks like. Is that normal for them to hire outsourced guards?
Yes, I think yes. Yes, because here's what they do. They hire pros all the time, for events, and celebrities. Remember that guy that got killed in the parking lot of the Celebrity Center in like 2008? He was he had a samurai sword. He was killed by a pro. He wasn't killed by a Scientology security guard.
He wasn't killed by PAC. He wasn't PAC didn't go after him. It was one of their private entities that handled that.
Well, he came into the parking lot swinging a samurai sword, and he was, and a pro was there and shot him in the leg or something, and he bled out and died there. Yeah. No
touch assist given?
No. He got, so that was done by a pro. They're constantly having to hire pros. A pro for everyone, if you don't know, is just a professional, a licensed bodyguard.
Like a private security company like Allied. Mm-hmm.
Who can carry a weapon. Private security.
Well, so I did actually do some research on Odo Huber and his guard card. Odo Huber does carry a California guard card. He actually had a firearm permit that was removed. He was allowed to carry on duty a firearm.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because they have guns there. They have a big case of them. It's on the wall. It's locked up. It's inside their security headquarters. They have on the horseshoe side. A lot of times the protesters are right there. That is the primary entrance to their security rooms.
So that's like their security office there where they handle all their business. Cameras are there, I'm assuming, and all that. It's at horseshoe area?
Tons. They actually control the elevators and all of the doors. So they can unlock and lock all doors on the base that are have the magnets on them. So including the entrances. They can also control all the keypads, and they there's a special code. If you press 0 and then your number, it alerts security that there's someone behind you or forcing you to go inside the building.
Oh.
So not only that, they have to always have 2 people on the watch where they're watching all the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the cameras can move around. There's a lot of micro cameras. There's a lot of sensors too. There's sensors on the roof. There's tons of sensors.
That's so crazy. Because when I was at Blue, I just I counted, I think like 20 to 30 cameras just on the Blue building. I mean, on the outside perimeter, obviously. That's a lot to watch. How many people do you think actually are in the PAC security for Blue currently? Because I only see like 2 or 3. And they got okay, maybe 4. With Odo and that new young kid and William. Like, I can only count. Oh, they got that. Maybe 5. So how many guards do they have? And is my audio bad? Let me know.
No, it sounds good.
Okay. As long as my
audio bad?
I'm getting messages that someone said my audio was bad, so I just want to make sure everyone can hear me.
Yeah, I think we can hear you pretty good.
Okay.
So what was the question?
Question. Sorry. How many guards are currently, do you believe, work for Blue?
Okay, when I got there, and this was in the year 1999, there was
no numbers.
9 approved and posted guards there in security that made up all of security.
Ooh.
So the approved ones. There's always like trainee people who are on their bike. You know, they don't have the fancier uniform. They have more of a relaxed fit look. There's a lot of trainees. Those are the ones that are going through being on the bicycle for a little while. They're going through getting the confessional that we talked about. And that lasts for 75 hours, this confessional that you get. So
75 hours?
Yeah, at least. That's 56 questions. You know, it's a lot of questions about your whole life and stuff. Oh, looks like you popped out. That's all right. We will go back to layout. When he pops back in, I'll know. And so I made some little talking points just in case this happened. I used to work in this like church right here. It's security. Now I worked in the actual part, the one with the giant metal lion in front. Oh, he's back. Add to stage.
I'm sorry. My
That's
tech,
fine.
you know, I'm learning this tech.
You're okay. I get it. All good.
Hopefully my audio is better because I was getting messages in chat that my audio was cracking. So hopefully it's a lot better now, guys. So there's not really that many guards in Scientology Blue building. Would you say?
Well, there are almost none. There's probably less than 10 that are.
I was going to say with their numbers.
Guards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then that's PAC base, so it's probably less in other places. You know, ILO, which is the HGB, it's probably even less. There's probably like 2, 5 or 5. So in 1999, that was people who were qualified. And so since COVID, you know, they've had tons of people leave because of COVID. Yeah, right. They were probably just shedding the people that were not completely brainwashed. There.
So, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, so you were kind of backtracking a little bit. You say they have weapons on.
Oh, yeah, they do. They have rifles, guns, shotguns, handguns. They also do this other game. They do this game thing with the Celebrity Center security, where the other force tries to break in to the other force's base anytime. This can happen at any time. It could be nighttime, it could be morning, and it's not like any part of the year they have to break in with water guns and kill people.
So they do like little not war games, but like, yeah, war gaming it. They pretend like, hey, someone's breaking in, so you got to. Ew. So they're almost paramilitary at this point. Like they have weapons. That's kind of scary. Thinking about a cult having weapons like that. Um, so what? Has there ever been an incident besides the one we just talked about at Celebrity Center where weapons were actually drawn? That you're aware of?
That I'm aware of? Wow. I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, think about that. Because, I mean, that's interesting that because like I said, I did some research on the guards I know their name of, and none of them have a firearm permit anymore currently. And if they have firearms on base, for what reason?
Couldn't other people have a firearm permit who was a Sea Org member and just have their gun down at security? Isn't that possible?
Anyone could technically carry a weapon. I mean, as long as they've got their CCW or it's just their personal weapon.
It could be an old person who is now spent 40 years in the Sea Org and is now just chilling in his room all day because he can't do anything else. He's super old, and he has a firearm weapon permit, and then he's got a gun down there. What about that? Well, is that possible?
Well, it's possible, but now if he's living there, because they're not supposed to live on base because it's kind of fishy, there would be no reason for him to have his gun there. There should be no reason for him to have a firearm there, unless he lives there. Base? Well, I mean, because you're now living at your church and your job. That's, I mean, not supposed to. I say they probably do, but
they live in the blue building with the Scientology sign on it.
I know they do, but they're not technically supposed to, because if they're staff, you can't stay at the same place you work at. But I know they do.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like 200 feet or something.
No, because you're not. From what I know, you can't live where you work. Like that's.
Well, I lived in the Scientology building, but I worked in a different building. It was the one.
Well, yeah, now
Lions.
Now, if they moved you, that's different than that totally. But so, if someone worked at the test center and lived at Blue, he could technically have a weapon there, and it could be his personal firearm.
Oh, so this is part of the weapon part.
Right. Well, it falls. Well, you were talking about can anyone have a firearm? Yeah, anyone can have a firearm where they live. But I mean, it's just if they used it at a church, that would be kind of weird. It would be a real. In legality, they'd be like, why does he have a gun at church? Is he licensed? Does he have, because that's technically, it's public because everybody's welcome. So, I mean, a public person could be there and get hurt. That's the whole law with CCWs. You got to know how to carry and use your weapon appropriately in a public space.
Okay, because the person that I took over, so when I joined the Sea Org, I started in security, and then later on I joined the security of one of the local orgs, which was that one with the training lion in front of it. Well, there was a guy there. His name was Frank Norton. He used to be in the security in the 80s and 90s, and he said he had a weapon. So maybe it was different, though, in
80s and things could have been different. I don't know about the laws then. Yeah. I mean, but if they have a CCW and carry a weapon on base, that's legal, because they're trained to know how to use it. But if it's just some random literal person who has no experience, it could become illegal if he used a firearm and, hurt somebody. Let's say someone was, he was defending himself, but someone got hurt secondary. He could technically be charged with assault on that other or homicide or however it goes to that other person, because he didn't know how to carry a firearm and he technically was using it in an inappropriate manner. Someone else got hurt. California, now it's different in other states. Texas, you can walk around and have a gun and it not matter. I'm more or less relating to California.
Okay, when I was there, they had a locker with guns in it.
Wow.
And they had guns. They told me, we have guns.
That is cool. I'm sorry, that just blows me away. Now, this is a good question. What church carries weapons? Like, literally has a weapon locker? If we're classifying Scientology as I've never heard of a...
Mine did.
Well, you grew up in a cult.
Yeah.
But that is so, and they do training with squirt guns in case someone breaks in,
Yeah, I
which is
got
also.
shot. I got shot with a squirt gun in the
So
hallway.
let's say you're doing the training and you get taken out, squirted water, squirt gun, and you drop your
Yeah.
body, whatever. What happens to you? Do you get punished, or like what would be the repercussions for failing the security check?
The security check or the water gun game?
The water gun. So like if they used, I call it security check, but the war gaming, whatever. If someone
Yeah.
got,
It's just
squirted,
pride.
it's a pride
It's
thing.
like we beat Celebrity Center this year, or they beat us last year. I mean, it's. I remember it not being really harmful. You just re-drilled it. You just you know you do drills in the hallways and things like that. I didn't do much on the bike or the physical security, except for I did do another type of security that I didn't tell you about, which is I used to. So in the very beginning, when I started
Hmm.
watching, when I first joined them, I was recruited by Garth Symington. He
Okay.
was in the security unit. He was an approved security guard, and he was on the bike. But he also had an additional job, which was a recruiter. He was a recruiter. He recruited me from San Diego org, and he said that he had this special project that they were working on, manning up this special unit of confessional auditors to work for security. And I, at the time, wanted a certain thing in the Sea Org. I wanted to be a certain type of auditor. So I joined the Sea Org for security. Jennifer Bupke, at the time, she joined at the same time as me. She was my girlfriend at Delphi, Oregon. We joined together, sort of, but separately because she actually got recruited for Office of Special Affairs. I was recruited for security. We both ended up in security because a lot of times before you can be an OSA, you have to have experience with security, both physical security and all of the little duties and jobs
Internal.
that are within the security unit.
Hmm.
So they said that she needed this some kind of record, production record. That's right, in security. So we were both in this unit, and we were supposed to be studying full time. But part of the time, for 8 hours a day, we were getting auditing this confessional I told you about to get approved in order to
Right.
be a security guard, and then um, we were doing training in order to learn how to do uh, rollbacks and the truth rundown and special confessionals on staff members.
Mm.
Yes, and some public if needed. So, but the other part of the day was we would walk around. Um, so Garth would have us walk with the beingness of a security guard. And he said, it's like a bad motherfucker, he said. And you just walk like this, like your TRs are in and you know where you're going. You just walk there intentionally. And so we had to do this type of walking all over the base. We would walk to the different staff members who were at their desk working, and we would do a basics inspection. We'd have our little pad, and I would say, let me see your daily battle plan, sir. Let me see your graph. What is your condition for the week? Are you in any ethics trouble? And what is the handling for that? And then they would reply, and I would write a little chit, and I'd give it to them, and I'd send a copy to their ethics department. And I'd do this all around the base. I would just walk around all day long
Just doing that.
doing basics inspections. Yes.
So
So
that
that
was.
was part of the training, this basics inspections thing. Here's another thing. The security guards, in order to get their statistics up, which is on a weekly basis, they're trying to get their production up, they will end up going out and doing these basic inspections on the staff members. And somehow, if they find a situation, then that gives them a higher statistic for production. Like I think their it sits found and handled. Situations found is the thing that they're going for. So they'll be out there doing these silly basic inspections with people.
Mhm.
There's another thing that I had. They gave us batons. It's a
I've seen
wood.
him.
and it's got copper on either end, and they were really nice. And we would walk around with them, in our armpit, and we would just
Badass
have
locals
that.
walking around like robots, like they do almost today. Like, I mean, I saw this morning.
But they do that on the Sea Org members. They're not just doing it on the public. They're doing this on the Sea Org members themselves.
So they don't treat the protesters or the Sea Org really any differently, is what you're saying.
They have compassion. They have compassion
with the Sea Org
member. Yes, I will say, like when I was, they do have some compassion. It feels like they do. They do have some bedside manner. That's where this security threats in charge comes in to play, Odo Huber, because he does have this other side to him where he has compassion and people feel helped by him. He's a lot of people's terminals, meaning they can come to him with problems. He's not such a scary person. He's a he's a really great guy within the Sea Org, though. He's a good, a looked up to, respected terminal that people can confide in.
I'm not gonna lie, like when it comes to Odo Huber, I want him out. Like he seems like a chill MFer. Like I would like to have a beer with him, not gonna lie. So I can get why he would be like, someone they feel they can go to with a bedside manner. But so they do treat the Sea Org kind of special because I would assume they've been through most of it themselves. They have a little compassion, which is nice to hear that because, I personally think they have no compassion like William and the other ones because they just seem like straight assholes. I've never seen them do anything nice to even help even helping the people across the street. They most or less just usher them away. Hey, get out of here. Get out of here. So, I mean, that's good to know that they do have a little bit of empathy.
Yes, but make no mistake, if you're going to cross security in any way, they're going to come down on you like a hammer.
Oh, they have to. They would have to.
So they're feared for sure.
They're feared but respected, kind of thing.
I feared them, and when I audited other Sea Org members, they feared them because if you're in bad with security, you're being watched nonstop. You're just being every time you're somewhere you shouldn't be, there's a security guard there. If you've walked off the base, like one time I snuck off the base with Huck, my friend, and the Sea Org, and there was a security guard at the metro station on his bicycle getting us back. This has happened multiple times. So you can get on their shit list. That's where I was a lot of the time, and Huckleberry, my friend, was, and a lot of people like Aaron Spelevin, he was on their shit list. So you can get that kind of like hazing treatment from security. They don't look at you, they don't smile, no hellos, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that security, yeah, there's just. But Roy Rodriguez, now he was another one. He was really good at his job as far as circling the base and scaring away possible predators. And then he would report on a fire a few blocks away. That was one of his big things. He smelled a fire and he went to it and then he reported it, and then the fire department came and cleaned it up. It was a few blocks away. I wasn't at the church. He was on duty.
So he responded to, or he called something in that was off his property, if you will. Because as a security guard, and when you said, oh, you had a guard at the metro station usher you guys back, that, I mean, is technically, if he was acting as a security guard, that is illegal because that is public property. Or, it's not his property to protect. Even if it's private, it's the other person's, whoever owns that area. So him literally stepping out of his license and doing that, that's a violation. In California, I don't know about other states, but that's another thing I wanted to ask you, Lewis. So because in order to be a licensed security guard and hired as a security guard in the state of California, you have to be hired by a private, a PPO, a private, oh fuck, what is the name? private prioritized service or something like that. It's a company that you got a license to actually hire security guards. So who would technically be in charge of that in LA? Because there has to be someone has their license for those guards, responsible for the guards.
I would guess it would be the Office of Special Affairs, the legal department in the Continental Liaison Office. That is my understanding based on the management binders that I read, which is so confidential that a majority of people haven't even read those. I've read them. And the legal department, that would be handled under that.
Under that,
who is that exactly? I mean, Jennifer Bubke, she was in charge of. So Jennifer Bubke, the one I joined with, she
yeah,
was
right.
also in security.
Mhm.
She was in security with me. We got kicked out of security together into one of the lower orgs. And that was the ASHO one, though, training land. And we were in security there for, I was in there till 2003, and she's still been in there. She's worked all in security, all through all the
She's still in.
the ins and outs, and she's still in there. Yeah, she is. Chris without a Hellcat, and her had like a little. He was doing a lot of interviews, and she was just. Anyways,
I would like to see. That'd be interesting to catch that.
she knows everything about the security, how it works. You know, she and the Office of Special Affairs, because she was recruited for the Office of Special Affairs. In her mind, she thinks I'm doing everything now to get into the Office of Special Affairs. OSA has a little unit inside this management one here, Continental Liaison Office.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that's over the management of the PAC base. So they have a little one person, or probably three people, one person though specifically, that has all these records. And
is that the Jennifer? Is that the Jennifer that gets the permits? That's not your. I mean,
that's the Jennifer. Yes,
that's the okay. That's the Jennifer. Okay, I'm like, oh wait, duh, I've seen her. Okay, so yeah. She. Oh, Crosscast. Yep.
Yeah, she's married to Flynn Krosgoff, who's so she's Jennifer Krosgoff.
Okay, so she's gonna be the one to know. Because I'm doing some research. I'm trying to figure out who owns the license, and I'm just gonna admit it, I'm gonna go for their license. They do not follow the rules of a security guard at all. I mean, I've seen someone that had to be at least 15, 16 as a guard, and you cannot be a guard as a child. You just can't. And he's wearing a badge. So that's kind of like, I'm going for that, because that's going to be another way to just kind of take them out, just chop them off at the legs, if you will.
I mean, but it's a religion, right? Like, you can't look behind the doors and all that. I mean, isn't that what this is? Isn't that what they're using as a protection? Go ahead.
So in that case, no, because regardless, you're licensed to perform a service. So like your hairdresser, I like to use this as an example. Your hairdresser has to have a license to cut hair. It's their job. So if they don't do their job correctly, there is a board you can report them to and have them investigated by the state. Now, yes, it may be a religion, so they have closed door rules, but not the security. The security company isn't the religion. Scientology is the religion. So they can investigate the security, and if they have to go in, I mean, I'd imagine if they ask, hey, I need documents, I need everyone's guard cards, they would have to present it because the state is asking. And that's what blew my mind, because when I was in LA, I asked for the guard cards and I was told, no, you can't have them. And I just didn't know that, but apparently you can't not see them as a public. They can give it to you, but they don't have to. So that was wrong. But I do know that if I can't figure out who they are, how can I report them? How can I report their company? I can't find their company.
There's another person, Wayne Carnahan. Yeah, I'll check with my friends who I knew at that time and see if that's the same name. But he was the head of OSA, Office of Special Affairs, for the PAC base. So, Wayne Carnahan.
I didn't bring up his.
he was always the one that would do the side checks on things when, like, religious technology center needed to know if something was okay or not. Then they would ask Wayne, and Wayne would write like yes or no or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to check into that. That's interesting because there's got to be, excuse me, someone who has the main license to hire security guards for Scientology, and that can't
Yeah,
be a
that makes.
religious.
Hmm.
They can't be a religious service because their job is to hire security for the religious services. So they are not technically a religion as far as the guards.
Okay, I just want you to know that all of the um, soft skills that security guards in the Church of Scientology learn are from
Mm-hmm.
L. Ron Hubbard. There's a confidential references about security and security guards by L. Ron Hubbard. There's a series, it's like 8 different references. I think I've only read 3 of them. They're just like the special inside knowledge for security guards, the super cool stuff that only L. Ron Hubbard knows, that kind of shit.
Security guards from 700 years ago on Target 42. Yeah, that kind of crazy. So their training, besides what legally has to be trained, has this legal standard. Their training is LRH's scripture, technically.
Yes, it
if
is.
LRH says, "Oh, you have to patrol L. Ron Hubbard Boulevard 5 times a day, and you need to be riding a bike," they do it.
Yes, but he wouldn't say a bike, I don't think.
I mean, you know what I'm saying. I'm just really specific.
But they have a car too, right? They also drive a car around.
I noticed at the Horseshoe there was a car that was usually parked there.
Okay, but that just might be a management person. Because remember I told you that Horseshoe is like the security hub? Well, that's because there are special rooms on the 4th floor of that Scientology building. And only the elevator can go, a certain elevator can go to that floor. All the other elevators can't go to that floor, and all the stairwells don't go to that floor. So it's like blocked off, and there's like 1 million cameras on this floor.
Hold on. There's only one way out of that 4th floor, and it's an elevator. No stairs. No stairs.
Right.
No fire escape. That is a fire hazard. So, like, if it ever did something happen where there was a fire at Blue, the people on the 4th floor could not get out. No way.
Yeah, 4th or 5th. It's either the RTC floor. I mean, it's the RTC floor or it's the CMO floor. I mean, 4 is CMO, RTC is 5. So here's what it looks like.
Go ahead.
Let me give you. So what it looks like is in the stairwell. That's where I used to like. We used to hang out before they put all the cameras in every single stairwell. They put on each angle. Good Lord, guys. We can't go anywhere without being watched. So, the door itself, you cannot open from the outside because they don't want staff members and public who are infiltrators, psychiatry, Eli Lilly,
doctors,
infiltrating into the RTC. I could see clearly that the door could not open. It was locked.
And I know it's a historical building. Blue Building is because it's the old Cedar Sinai. You're not supposed to modify a historic building past a certain point because it's a historical landmark. Have they modified the building? Obviously, we can't find out because we as public can't go in there. But these are questions that the building department needs to understand, the historical foundation departments need to look at. Because if they do any modification to the building that is not approved by the historical department, they're in violation of owning a historical building and not keeping it up. Also,
somehow they've safe pointed whoever the inspectors are. So
wouldn't surprise me.
I would think that they've already safe pointed because when they were installing all of the new doors, the magnetic fire doors, I was really impressed with the length that they had to go to and did go to, on all these doors. So I mean, it was pretty incredible the amount of security just on Leb Hall, which is the middle building between the big Scientology sign and the Asho. It's called Lebanon Hall, Leb Hall. So they had to put as one of those security doors, those magnets that every stairwell, and
That
to
keep them
comply
open or
to.
closed?
They open and or closed,
Those pending.
depending on fire codes and all this
Well, see,
stuff.
that would be approved by the historical building department because it's a fire code that takes precedence. But I'm talking like removing a stairwell, like saying, "Oh, the stairwell doesn't exist anymore. We're gonna just block it off or cover it up." That's against the law. And again, like I said, going to the fourth floor and not having a fire escape, that's ridiculous. Because there could be someone, and I on that fourth floor, and that something happened, and they couldn't get out, and that would just be horrible.
Yeah, they burned to death.
And that goes to show you they really don't care about their parishioners.
Well, yeah. So the elevator goes down and up, and it goes only to that floor. So that's so security can control whether or not that door of the elevator opens or not, too. So they
Right,
can
you were saying
control
that.
where the elevator goes. So that's the horseshoe. We were talking about the horseshoe for some reason.
Well, we were talking because of the cars, and I see
Oh,
a
the
car
cars,
parked.
yeah.
I
So
saw it
they
because you
have a
said they have a
car.
car. Because
Mm-hmm.
and someone in chat actually said the Honda that was in the horseshoe actually was moved today and had more guards with him. Like it was like a guard patrol vehicle. It was kind of cute, a clown car. But so they actually have one vehicle for at the horseshoe.
Oh, they have one that's you can't see. It's more than likely not at the horseshoe. It's probably parked across the street in that like sandy gravel parking lot that they own. And
Where do
then
they keep
they
the
if what
volunteer
I
service
knew,
truck?
what my understanding was when I saw it and they told us about it was it just drives around, and then when if there's something that they need, then the
That's
security
interesting.
car
Some
takes care of it.
someone should go and find that car because if any protesters are stopped, it'd probably be that vehicle. I mean,
Yeah, I mean our
that's
cars. You can see the cars that are going in and out of that one parking lot across the
mhm.
street from the vehicle area near
And
security.
when I was there, I completely forgot about that parking lot that they own it, and I didn't even check it
Mm-hmm.
out. And I really regret not looking over there because I bet you there's a lot over there.
I
They were
bet there's a
using it.
ton. Yeah.
They were using it for staging yesterday for this 9-day event. This magical 9-day event they got going on all of a sudden. Like, I don't know how Jennifer was
That's
able to get
clever.
that. I
That's
don't know how
clever. Good job, Jennifer. You're
she
amazing.
she safe pointed
Continue
somebody.
being a prisoner. Look,
I
she's not even going up the bridge, and she's been there for 24 years. It's
was she
just
an OT?
what the fuck? What?
Was she an OT
She never moved up the bridge.
at all?
No, she did the pure. That's it.
And wow,
Yeah.
Jennifer, get out! You're not doing anyone any good. You're not even clearing the planet at this point. Just leave. Just leave.
Yeah, I mean, she's. Let me tell you something. Here's my HCO thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all these types of MAAs. So in the year 2000, I got out of security, and Jennifer and we were working at ASHO, and we were in the security department for ASHO. She was the public MAA, Master at Arms, and I was another public Master at Arms. So what the hell does that even mean, right?
Well, I know it. In the military, I kind of know what it means. It means that you're in charge of all the weaponry and the firearms, and
Yeah.
but
So there's all of these types of public. There's suppressive persons that are declared. There's people that are labeled A to J. There are people who have requested a refund. There are people who have gotten refunds. There are people that have used to be doing Scientology but are not anymore, and those people are offline. There's disaffected public. There's celebrity public. There's OT public. There's public that are just arriving from out of town. There's a student, like in a courtroom type of public, and then there's the people that are paying and getting the auditing type of public. So Jennifer dealt with all of these publics. So she dealt with Johnny Lewis in ethics. You know Johnny Lewis? She was his master at arms for a short period. Do you know Johnny Lewis? He's from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that was celebrity. So she also dealt with the OT public. When, do you know Julian Schwartz? He was the master at arms. Mm-hmm. So he is at AOLA. He only deals with the OT public typically, or the really seriously off the rails public.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are the public that are used to be Scientologists and are kind of spreading things or like under the radar, and those types of public. So Jennifer, this whole time, she's been the one dealing with all of these types of public. She was like the helping Julian Schwartz with all of the administration and things like that for getting people approved onto the operating Dayton levels, because that's her main job, was to get all these people approved onto the operating Dayton levels. In order to do that, they have to go through a number of confessionals, the public do, and they pay for this. Then everything is gone through in their whole life. And Jennifer sees them all on all of that. They have to do, amends programs and things like that in order to get approved to get on the OT levels. Once they've done all that, they submit a request to RTC, the local one, and then RTC approves it and sends the person an invitation, and then the person pays more money. So that's where Jennifer, that's her niche. Mm-hmm. She's good at the writing of the affidavits and things like that, but that's all within that ASHO security department. She does all of that. So like during events and things, she does the WQSB. She does the, like we all have a job when there's an event. I was an usher because I knew a lot of public. So I was an usher. She was a security person. She was the one like looking out for people, looking for the real SPTV internally within Scientology and the Sea Org, looking for the real SPs to report on them or whatever, or make sure that the legal things are signed and approved. So I don't know whether or not she's in that OSA up here, or if she's just still down here,
still stuck in her box. But she's trying to work up to OSA.
Her husband is not qualified for anything past this.
So why would her husband be disqualified?
Ethics records.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Ethics record. Ethics record mostly. But he's also like a cash cow he's a really good auditor. No, he's a really good auditor, a Sea Org member. And a lot of people pay good money to get auditing from him. So, boom. Right? So
they ain't going to get rid of him.
Right.
That's a cash cow for them. That LRH would be like, let's keep him.
Easy target too, because think about how many people he's connected to. If one public or two public go off the rails, or turn against the church and want to sue him, and they happen to be Flynn's pre-clears from the past, boom, Flynn gets declared, and then the Sea Org internally gets told it was Flynn this whole time that caused these situations with this public. Boom, Flynn is then
done.
Easy target, dude. Easy target.
Better hope, Flynn, that no one, blows your cover.
Yeah.
Now, I saw a question in chat. Does David Miscavige have access to the cameras at every org from his desk at any base?
Does David Miscavige have what?
Access to the cameras at, like, let's say Sacramento org.
Yes.
Like, he could literally just jump in and be like...
I mean, if it's an ideal org, yes. If it's...
So, Sacramento is an ideal org.
Look, imagine you're David Miscavige and everyone worships you within Scientology. He could tell one of his messengers, hey, find out, give me a picture or a video right now of something that's happening at Sacramento org. And they would get on the phone and they'd call somebody in Sacramento org. And they'd be like, get your phone out, email me this or text me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Couldn't they just do that? They would do that. He would do that. I would do that.
We're also normal people, and David Miscavige is a little crazy, but he can ask for the footage. He gets what he wants. Like Serge says, he does get what he wants.
He gets what he wants. Yeah, that is the end of it, because he is source. He is source because he is always saying that he follows source, and he gets LRH. We're doing it the right way because LRH said this or that, or he twisted it a little bit this way or that way to fit his own means.
Kelly, or more generally, does OSA have instant access to the cameras, outside building cameras? Well, yeah, I don't know, but I wouldn't doubt it. With the technology we have, OSA, do they have access?
Look, if they could do it, they would do it.
I was going to say, it's possible.
Because when I was there in 1999, the security guy, when I was pulling all the security camera wires through all the building, thousands of feet of them, there were over 200 cameras in one building alone. And those are the ones he said I knew about. I mean, he said there were hidden ones as well, the confidential stuff.
Well, that's funny because we all know auditing rooms have hidden cameras, and hopefully they didn't record any children being audited, because I would love to get my hands on that and send it to somebody.
Yeah, I'd send it to the cops.
FBI, 100%. I've already, like I said,
I see what you're saying. I never even really thought about that, because here's the thing. The number one time when Sea Org member children would be audited is when, or getting confessionals, is when they're becoming qualified for a higher level. So when I got recruited into this high level security and OSA. So I had to get confessionals. When people, especially young people, they get recruited to be in the arts, or a singer, or an actress, for work for Golden Era Productions, the first thing you have to do is the confessionals. And not only that, but when we had to do any confessionals on staff members, they had to be videoed, and the video had to stay in the folder.
So it goes in their PC folder?
Yes.
Oh.
When I was doing it we were doing it with VHS.
Right, I mean, times have changed now. Digital,
yes, times have changed, but it's still the same. We have the video literally in the folder.
Well, actually, I hate to say this, but Scientology isn't so smart with technology. I wouldn't be surprised because it would have the VHS tapes, because if it was digital, someone could technically hack their network and get all cameras.
Well, I know it's digital because when we were updating our org in 2010, and it was started doing the renovations, we were told that there would be an auditing system that would record everything onto one server, and anyone could access it who had special credentials, such as the case supervisor or even Religious Technology Center. Because when I was there in 2010, we had to take the VHS tape, put it in the folder, run the folder across the street, that's where RTC was, and get it checked by RTC, the video watched, and then bring it back. But they wanted to cut all of that out by just making it digital system. Yeah,
because now you don't need to run the folders.
Yep.
Now it makes me wonder if all their PC folders are digital, besides the older PC folders.
I would say there's still work. I don't know. That'd be a lot of work, man. But they have the manpower.
That is true. That would be a lot of work. But
we digitized all of central files. I remember working on this for years. We had a whole, every night, everyone had to do 2 hours of central files work, filing and then digitally scanning every single one. But also they would keep every single one, in a file. They keep the hard copy, plus they keep it digitally. And they had a whole system. As part of the system, you could search different people, but depending on your clearances, you could only see certain people. For
People.
example, the public. I was a staff member in security, and so I could look on the system and I could see everyone that had wanted a refund. I could see all of the suppressive person declares and why they were declared. I could see all of their financial history. I could see a whole bunch of stuff about what they call the dead file. But when I was just a supervisor later on, and I was supervising public and training public, I would only be able to, I wouldn't be able to see anyone that was dead filed. It would just say dead filed on their name, or it'd be blacked out, and that was it. I couldn't see it.
Redacted.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because if they're keeping it digitally now, they're playing a very dangerous game with all those pre-clear files. It takes, especially now with, I mean, not now with, but because they are on Anonymous's radar and have been, it only takes a good trained hacker to get into their Wi-Fi. It's not that hard.
I mean, you're probably right about that. However, I remember them going through quite a number of evolutions regarding the digital machinery. So they changed out all of the computer systems. So it's just an intranet, and each computer doesn't have its own, it's just a monitor basically, and it's connected to the main server. They switched all of that out during the ideal orgs. They didn't want anything on the web, on the internet. That's what they were saying.
That would make sense. So now you got to be hardwired into the network in order to access the file. Okay, still not hard to.
Yeah.
It's not hard to find someone who wants to blow and just grabs what they can and be like, peace. If there's anyone who wants to blow, before you blow, grab all the paperwork while you can.
Yeah, there was actually a guy who did steal 5 hard drives, supposedly. He was a young man. You know, when he was 15 or 14, he had his thumb notched while in the Sea Ward when he was working on the books. There's a notcher, and it notches through the books, you know? So it notched his finger off, and that was a pretty big situation. A few years later, he ended up blowing, running away, and he stole several hard drives. And basically, Scientology just sent the police after him and got him arrested. And that's all that happened. They supposedly got the hard drives back.
So that would be because you guys sign a bunch of contracts you won't disclose, and some of that stuff is legally binding and some of it is not. But I believe if somebody were to just hand it over right as they got it to the FBI, I think they could negate the legalities because they're doing it in to save people. I mean, or let's just talk about it. If they grab the children files to save the children, like.
Oh, yeah, good point there.
Because the FBI wouldn't want to charge him. They would probably treat him like a whistleblower, and he would be whistleblower protection.
Yeah, because just make a list of every single person that's ever done a service, and then find out when they were a child, and then find out what year that was, and if they were getting any auditing at that time. I think that the physical PC folders might be easier to get.
It's all speculation.
In the parking structure. A lot of
they're in the parking structure on Fountain?
Yeah, the pre-clear folders are in the parking structure. They've got a built-in system to hold all these folders. They're in racks and racks and racks and racks, and they're on all the different levels. Like some are, you have to have security clearance to go from the base to the parking structure. Then from the parking structure, you need to call security again and say, I want to get into the OT archives. Then they let you through one door, and then you're up to the next door, and that's like super locked, and there's always somebody in there working. And they don't let anybody in there unless you're OT. So I wasn't OT, so I wasn't allowed to go in. So all the folders are in there in the parking structure. There was supposedly going to be this huge plan how they were going to move the PC folders, or all these folders, to some other new location. I call BS on that. They would not spend the money on that.
Well, it'd be too risky for them. Someone grabbing a OT folder, your pre-clear folder.
Right.
So that they would rather not do that. That would be so silly of them. I mean, I know a couple of people have already found their fucking printing shop in LA. So it's like that would not work. So I don't think they would move it. But really, in the parking structure on Fountain,
Yeah, the one that DOA is always in front of.
God, oh, I was that close to the pre-clear folders. Damn.
Those are a lot of staff folders. We used to hold all of the staff back folders. So for just my org, which was about 200 people, there would be probably, 2,000, I don't know, a lot of folders, 2,000 folders. Because, Mom, I had 56 folders myself. So each one's like this fat.
And you had 56?
Yeah, and Jennifer, she hasn't even gone up the bridge, right?
So she has none, right?
She had 38 in 2013. 38. 2013.
Wow.
That's a lot of confessional auditing to get.
And they're all your dark secrets and what you may or...
But it's not necessarily always about the dark secrets. It could just be about, your own introverted thoughts about yourself.
Well, I don't care about that. I don't care about none of that. But like, let's say Jennifer sees something and it causes her reactive mind to freak out. She audits herself. Like, let's say she saw kids being audited and she felt bad. She would go to auditing and say, hey, that was wrong. And then they write it down in the folder. They handle her. But it would still be in the folder that she saw children being like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's someone who said, hey, I didn't like seeing children, and they had to get it, handled, and probably did. But there would be notes of that.
They're pinning it on the person instead of the L. Ron Hubbard.
Right.
In her mind, it's not wrong about Scientology. It's wrong about the person, the criminal that did whatever fucked up thing that you're talking about to the child. So in their mind, they're brainwashed to think it's just the person. It's not that the person was literally carrying out L. Ron Hubbard's weird, sick sexual questions to a child. Yeah, but Jennifer's thinking it's the person only.
It's not. Yep, it's not the tech.
Yeah, it's like
Well, Lewis, this was awesome. It looks like chat was like super thrilled, getting a bunch of information. I want to do this again, Lewis. We should do another security talk. We'll call it a pack talk.
Let's do it. I'll
from one guard doing it.
Talk about too. I've got other stuff I can talk about.
I see what you did.
Little subjects here.
I would love to have another discussion like this.
There's someone that did ask about William. I really don't know anything about William, but in order for a security guard to go from Celebrity Center to PAC, they did something wrong.
They did something wrong at Celebrity Center.
Yes. It's got to do with usually celebrities. They probably messed up there somehow, multiple times. They don't just transfer them over here, or this is used as a training ground. PAC is used as a training ground for other security bases because of all of the, violence that goes around in the hood and all this stuff. And all the stuff that goes on within the PAC base with the staff members, and all the wild public that come to their doors. Yeah, let's put
a pin in that. Let's put a pin in that. You got my information. I'm gonna actually send you on Instagram my personal number so we can coordinate and talk more about things. Because this is great. You're ex-security. I have a little bit of a security background. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks for everybody.
Thank you all. We appreciate you. And we will talk. I'm going to jump out of here. He can do what he wants. So thank you guys.